Grab a seat, order your drink, and welcome to the brightest center in the galaxy for all things Star Wars Expanded Universe and whatever else might blow in the door. You're listening to the Callum's Cantina podcast, and I'm your host, Callum. No matter if you're a seasoned bounty hunter of lore or just looking for a good story, you've stumbled into the right cantina. Today, we're going into some side tangents, digressions that were cut from the very first topic of this podcast of the Essential Expanded Universe collection that I think are worth sharing. So pull up a chair and let's unravel the legends.
Well, I will say this is outside of our topic, really, entirely, honestly. But in the new Disney garbage, they have Skywalkers as a Chiss kind of sort of hyperspace navigator type individual. They refer to them as Skywalkers because they're able to navigate through the skies without hyperdrive. Like they don't have astromechs to calculate the stuff. They have these force sensitive women.
I mean, I can see why the term would be used in that respect, but
yeah, that's neither here nor there. But that's the only thing I can think of that even remotely approaches one of these. This is a super common term.
Yeah,
right. That's fair, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Like I would hope. I used to love Zahn, and then like I read his new canon stuff, and I was like, okay, this is decent, and like ties into his original things, but then like all of his comments that he had, where he was like super crappy to EU fans, and like
that really
reboot and this, and I was like, you know what?
Which doesn't make sense because he used to be the number one advocate for not rebooting.
Money.
I know. You know, they all sell out eventually.
That's right.
Well, not all of them. Travis.
And James. Well, yeah, Travis is the best example, and then James Luceno is another example. He just couldn't reach contract, so
he still said enough.
You can tell with Tarkin that he started out. Right, it really is. You can tell, but you can tell the little like new canon crap that he included. It was more because he was forced to. Anyway,
anywho,
let's be honest here. Are Lordians really not human? Like, or are they really just really a subspecies?
I would just consider them to be humans that have developed their own like unique, hand sign language type thing.
Well, right. Well, they also have
expressions and all that. Like they had to develop that because they were enslaved. Like that's.
Well, they also have that that vision spectrum of theirs that's kind of unique to them, but that's due to the harshness of their planet. That's through the way the planet that they lived on.
Then evolved to be a little bit different.
Which is basically how the Chiss are.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, but like Lordians are very human-esque. Like they're very similar to baseline humans. Otherwise, very much like Hapans, which is why like they're kind of considered a subspecies because they have some mild traits that are a little bit different, but they're ultimately human.
We'll need to get the Abroan Institute on it and sequencing their DNA and comparing it.
Right.
Well, in terms of DNA,
we can just use the nice catch-all term near human. Don't worry about it.
They do that.
Oh, yeah.
there you go.
Then we also have some new humans that can't interbreed with humans.
I have issues with near humans that can't interbreed with humans. If they're near human, they should be able to.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm still on Shadows of the Empire. I would weirdly say that you should read the text on the CD and or vinyl because it gives
the
you
cover for the Crystal Star.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah, maybe There you go.
Blurry. There we go.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
not where I
the
expected
reason
that
why
answer, no.
the reason why I say this is because it has the word Averta on here. And this is printed in 1996, like was when they first did this. And
That's
so
amazing.
it has the whole like it actually has my last name in it, weirdly. It's like the words. It says Booten, Wooten, Landlock Wooten is the beginning lines of it. And so Wooten there. Very strange. But it also has historical notes on the word Averta, and it talks about
Intriguing that's in there.
like the discoveries of the space merchant explorer Mungo Baoba, the adventures of Mungo Baoba, Lucasfilm 1986. What is that? I don't know.
Good old Mungo.
Yeah, it's got stuff with like the word Averta on here. It talks about the battalions of Zell and all of that. The Warriors of Shadow, the Tongs.
Baobab.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Like, hang on a sec.
It's got a picture from the droids cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's actually
He's from the droids cartoon.
I never made that connection before, but yet somehow he ends up on the back of the Shadows of the Empire.
It's because he's the guy who encoded, or he found and preserved the rune stones, and encoded in them was the crystal structure of the text of the word Averta. It's the earliest known text.
Okay.
There's all this weird deep lore on the back of this thing that shouldn't be here.
That's so wild.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
But also very cool.
Yeah, and then it also has like just, on the first side, like here's the main theme from Star Wars and Leia's Nightmare, the Battle of Gaul, Imperial City, like what's all these things are happening. But then it gives you like blocks of text. Like if you've never read this book, it gives you like synopses of like what's happening in each of these scenes.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It's probably the holiday special organization.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's we're well past that. Though we have established that it is essential. The holiday special. I don't think we want the novelization. I can't imagine that's any better.
I don't want it
actually. Someone could do something with it if they novelized it.
Okay, actually, here's the thing. I was looking at it, like I'm like, you can literally if you cut out all the ridiculous fluff and the stuff that's like doesn't establish anything important.
You mean you don't want to watch holograms of Jefferson starships sing a song and play music? I mean, come on now.
Hey, you don't want to have B. Arthur singing another round, friend?
Hey, I actually like that scene.
It is.
I mean, like if you cut out like all the ridiculous fluff, they could have easily been a nice little half-hour TV special. It could have been a nice little half-hour TV special. It would have been fine. But no, it's an hour and a half of insanity.
Cocaine is a powerful drug. Everyone on that set besides Harrison Ford was on it.
I think the person who wrote the scripts, who was not George, he just gave them the plot and said, do what you will with this. I think the person who wrote the script was on meth. My God, that was awful.
Oh, yes.
Like, that was awful.
Having some sort of like ayahuasca dreams or something.
Considering the Beatles were on cocaine when they wrote their songs, like this person had to be on meth to write this script. Like, okay, the Beatles and Queen wrote beautiful songs high on cocaine. Okay, the fact that So, like this person could not have been on cocaine. The story could have at least been good if he was on cocaine.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Because, like, everybody really likes Stephen King, but all the Stephen King books that are good are the ones that he was doing coke when he wrote them.
Right.
So,
right. Like, this person had to be on meth.
So if we want to write good stories, we just have to do cocaine. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh Lord! Well, that I'm definitely buying. But everyone have fun.
Man,
All right.
We are not advocating for drugs. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs, guys. We're making jokes here. We're not serious.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Oh,
Please
Lord.
don't.
Cut out the don't, and then it'll be more fun.
Like that scene in Scooby-Doo. I think Coolsville sucks.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, some of our tangents.
Yeah. Our
That's right. I'm sure we can go through it and work out what isn't essential.
Yeah, what's really sad is that one of our tangents ended up putting something essential that none of us want to be essential, but it unfortunately establishes too much. It establishes too much, and it's the worst piece of Star Wars media in the history.
This is Jeff's fault. He started naming off all the important things in it. I was like, damn, right.
Unfortunately, it's true. Like, it's so unfortunate.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Oh Lord!
Oh, I completed the Jedi Bob Lego set.
No.
Nice. Now you just replace all the red with blue, and you have a good Plo Koon starship.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I already built my Plo Koon starship though out of
I know you did.
Obi-Wan. So
I know. Honestly, I need to get another Obi-Wan one and just do that.
Yeah, they definitely start to feel more restricted by the guidelines that Lucasfilm set in place for a bunch of the Skywalker family, I feel like.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You're very limited in what you can do when you have those guidelines. And I think George's stipulation that he wouldn't allow any of the after Chewbacca's death, he wouldn't allow any of the other original trilogy characters to die, like on like in story. Like, I think that screwed up a lot of stuff. I think that's what caused Anakin's death. I think that's what caused like just a handful of things. That's why Mara was able to die, but no one else in the Skywalker family was able to die.
Yeah.
It kind of it's like there's a certain point. I gotta be honest. By the end of Legacy of the Force, Han should have been dead. In my opinion.
Even reading Ambush at Corellia, he's going, all right, and he's a happy family man, and he's looking for more that he can do.
Right. Like,
It's interesting though.
Like, his storyline after Legacy of the Force is really lame and really not interesting anymore. Like, his part in Fate of the Jedi, like, they could have they could literally drop Han from the story altogether, and very little would change.
Counterpoint.
Like,
Never tell me the odds.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. We're not on that at the moment.
I know.
Side tangent
Anyway.
once again.
You got to move the mannequin.
I'm not getting up to move it. I'm not getting up.
You
to
need
move
it on a rail that you can just pull it slowly towards.
right.
I will also raise the
just
point.
have it back there. And
people always say that George Lucas didn't care about the EU. I was like, well, he clearly did. If he's going to start laying stipulations under who can live and die, like it wouldn't matter if he didn't care. So that's just every time I hear those sort of things pop up, I'm like, well, he clearly did. And part of me wonders if that's because he was still trying to work out if he could tack a movie onto the end of it. But that's obviously a whole different story and ball game.
I think that was the idea.
I believe he had his treatments, but then he at least would have roughly attempted to keep the treatments following the main through line, which is probably quite related to the topic we're looking at here, because we're looking at the main through line of the EU.
Right.
And it is something I brought up in a previous podcast or episode of somebody's YouTube channel at some point, is that that's largely what he did with the prequels. Like the prequels, we needed to retcon a couple of things.
Absolutely.
But the things that got retconned were also things that the authors were told to stay away from. So I don't even necessarily think that's an issue.
Yeah, kind of their fault.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when they were told,
they had to be able to make reference, and that was the thing.
Yeah.
And when they were told not to touch anything prior to A New Hope, like just don't touch that whole era at all because I'm going to put some movies in there. And then when people start trying to write Boba Fett's background, it's like, well, now you're talking about things that happened before A New Hope. So I'm not really surprised when Lucas came through and just went, But everything else,
and the whole thing of the time when the Clone Wars took place is like, well,
it's like you guys are told not to, but everything else remained, including Coruscant being the capital city and blah blah blah. Like all the
if you
liked a bunch of the ideas in there.
Then why would Coruscant be the capital? Wouldn't it just be like had abandoned, like he wanted?
Yeah. So it's one of those things that had he done sequels, I'm sure it would have fitted just about as well. There would have been some retcons, but for the most part, it fitted the EU, and there was very little fiddling to do. Side tangent, though. Sorry about that, everyone.
Now we need to move the mannequin twice. Keep track of that.
Right.
That's what you need now. You need like a little mannequin tracker, like on the channel, just like over in the corner or something, and we just move it every time that
you'll have to send me a PNG of the mannequin so that I can put it in the background.
Oh man, this is funny.
Oh dear. And meanwhile, this 9-year-old Anakin just bringing the riz as soon as he sees it. It's like, you an angel? Like, so that's obviously the quickest just characters meet to desiring one another. That's about as quick as that can get.
I mean, it took 10 years. It took 10.5 years.
Oh, they had to be legal age of consent.
Yeah, that's legalities.
Right.
Padme's just busy calling up all the lawyers of Tatooine.
It's not like Anakin didn't have potential girlfriends in that time frame. I just finished Rogue Planet, and oh my gosh, he's only 12, and this girl is like flirting with him. I was like, oh my god,
that Skywalker
he's got the midichlorian riz.
I know, right?
They can all sense it. Why can't you?
Search your feelings. You know it to be true. I was just thinking as well on another side tangent of how old Luke is by the time he actually gets married.
Think about this. Mara's only a year younger than him.
There we go.
They're not that close. They're not that far apart in age, and
I wonder if Mara has any
time.
secret boyfriends like Luke has had his litany of girlfriends.
According to Timothy Zahn, no.
Well, I mean,
but also
Lando.
Luke's list.
Right, but that's it. That's it. Lando, and according to according to the Hand of Thrawn duology,
that did not happen.
It wasn't real.
Yeah, well, like even reading some of the Lando stuff, it's like he tried, but then she just was like, "Chill,
right?
It's a business partnership."
Right. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Calrissian Riz didn't work on her.
Yeah.
It works on
Calrissian.
God, that mannequin's getting close.
It's like right over my shoulder.
Every second that we have a tangent, the mannequin gets closer.
The mannequin will be wearing the headphones next tangent.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
here's a... Yeah. Okay, so now the mannequin is about to punch through the camera, but for another video at another time, I think we need to go and find our top 3 or 5, or pick a number, most egregious Wikipedia articles.
I like that.
I like that idea. Yeah, I'm adding that in.
That's a good one. That's a good idea.
Just bring them up and say, this article from beginning to end is absolute horse dung, and here is why. And just because some of them are terrible. Obviously, they're not.
So Anakin, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Barasofi.
Finland Voss.
Yeah, just going through.
Those guys are terrible. Those guys are horrible because of all the TCW stuff.
Yeah. But see, those would be egregious because there's just no explanation for the in-betweens.
Yes, but I don't feel like that necessarily would fall into what we're really thinking.
Oh, I know. I know.
Because
I'm exaggerating a little bit.
I'd have to actually read through Wikipedia articles for the first time in like 10 years at least, if not more.
Right.
10 years
it's more secondary characters and stuff, because I've read a few things on Wikipedia. Wikipedia, close enough.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be reading it through and I think, did I read the book wrong? Have I made a mistake? And I'll go back and look at the book and think, no. Like a character that got the entire race wrong, or they've got sometimes they have their entire, they'll put them down as a villain. I'm like, no, that's the one that rescued all the kids. What do you mean? Like, they've actually switched around biographies on characters and all kinds of nonsense. And
they'll do that.
It's like, well, there's a few of them that I've discovered that I'm like, they definitely just read the blurb and based the page based on the blurb. Because obviously the blurb doesn't want to give spoilers. And the blurb wants to give you a bit of a cliffhanger, or maybe make you think that things might not be how they are. And I know that now I'm being vague, but that's what the blurb is for, is to get your interest.
Yeah.
And and so if the blurb is like, Anakin, and say this is a story about 8-year-old Anakin, not 8-year-old, okay, 12-year-old Anakin. And the blurb is like, will Anakin kill Obi-Wan? Like on the back. And so the Wikipedia's like, in this book, Anakin kills Obi-Wan. And you're like, no,
he doesn't.
But obviously they've just read the blurb and extrapolated what they can from that, and as a result, the page is just god awful. And there's a few like that, so I reckon that's a fun video. Oh, by the way, the mannequin's here, but that'll be a fun.
The mannequin is the 5th participant now.
I already know what one of those pages definitely is going to be of mine.
That's fair. Yep. That's fair.
Django Tat.
Oh yes, that's the one we were discussing, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh man,
that whole page is just borked.
I was so amazed that Wikipedia included a completely made-up CT designation.
Yes,
that's the best.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's like, please,
it's not like
source.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, this is something that like someone from Lucasfilm said one time, but it's not in an actual book, or no, it's just completely made up.
Yep, and they don't even there's no reference to it. There's nothing. They just have it in there.
I was talking to the AI and it was going, oh, it's in the Cess's Deception. I'm like, okay, where is it? Looks it up. Nowhere.
Not there.
What other sources are there? Looks in them. Nowhere.
No. And it's one of those crazy things where, again, I'm very willing to be proven wrong on these things. And so when I read, I'm like, oh yeah, did I not? And you go back to like, no, they're wrong. Okay, cool. No worries.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this for like ages. And this is like a conversation that has came up a dozen times over the years that we've known each other. Like, and then we finally figured it out, and we're like, oh, no, it's just completely fake. Okay. Why is this on the Wikipedia page?
Because they're dumbasses.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to go on a slight tangent here.
Hey.
Next time on Mannequin. Next time.
The mannequin's in my room now.
Okay. No, it's still related. It's a slight tangent. It's connected to what we're getting into here.
Right.
Personally, I feel that Legacy of the Force is not where the Legacy era should begin. I feel like Legacy of the Force should be the end. Legacy of the Force should be the end of the New Jedi Order era. That's my opinion.
Explain.
So that's where that's where the Jedi's significance changes again. Mm-hmm. Because it's still very much because up till I'm accepting of the young and junior Jedi Knights being New Republic because the New Republic is more prominent here.
Yeah.
The New Jedi Order era starts with the New Jedi Order series because, well, the New Republic falls apart here, and the Jedi are kind of taking care of everything.
Yeah.
So that tracks. Okay. And then the Unifying Force establishes the Galactic Alliance. And that's fair. But the Jedi are still kind of having a lot of influence when Legacy of the Force opens. They're still very influential. They're still very significant until about halfway through when Jason turns them into essentially criminals.
Yeah.
And so so in my opinion, I think that the Legacy label being attached to Legacy of the Force is actually inaccurate.
From the sound of it as well, another possible change in when the era starts could be just after the New Jedi Order series. Because that's in the Unifying Force. You mentioned that's when they start the alliance.
That's fair, and I believe that's what they were going for with the labeling. But to me, it doesn't make sense because the New Jedi Order is still very prominent. But then in Fate of the Jedi, their influence is significantly reduced.
Okay, right.
And it is more legacy in concept, whereas Legacy of the Force actually doesn't have much to do with legacy, other than the idea of Ben and Alana specifically.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, it started setting up the pathway towards handing over to the next generation.
Right.
Not to be confused with Star Trek
What? Not what?
I said not to be confused with Star Trek: The Next Generation. Very different.
Fair.
Well, this would be
in my timeline. I broke up the Rise of the Empire era anyway into Imperial and Rebellion, and then the Rebellion era starts with the formation of the Rebellion, but the Empire is still the predominant force in the galaxy.
Right.
So there's a little bit of it. Just depends how you look at it, I guess.
Should we change the eras to just be after the New Jedi Order, it's just the Galactic Alliance?
Honestly, it's just strange to me, how they've arranged the eras.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could just pull the Legacy comics, the Legacy era.
Right. Yeah. Because to me, that's what the Legacy era really is. Because it's. But anyway,
well, it's a definite legacy then. Yeah.
Because it's set so much after. It's a bit like how Dawn of the Jedi is so far back, and that's the Dawn of the Jedi era.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty much the entire era, and with one novel and a couple of short stories.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But anyway, then there's Mara's death.
Yeah.
And
that has to be in there.
Which was a mistake and shouldn't have happened.
Oh, well, Yeah, Han should have been the sacrifice, not Mara.
It would have been a lot closer connection to Jason as well.
It would have made more sense. Honestly, Mara being the Sith sacrifice for Jason makes logistically no sense. It doesn't track with Sith sacrifice processes. Like Dooku's was Sifo Dyas. This was literally the person he was the closest to in his entire life.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have I mean, if we're gonna be technical, Vader never had a real Sith sacrifice. You know, and though there's an argument that
arguably it would be Padme because he caused her to die.
Yeah.
True.
That's what I was thinking.
True. But then there's also but then there's also Palpatine's was his entire family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't like them anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing. These were the people that he was closest to at the time. He didn't have a lot of close friends. He didn't have a lot of close anything at the time.
No, definitely not.
So it kind of tracks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's...
track, yeah.
And Bane's was the entire Sith Order.
Yeah,
he was messing around. There was no messing around there.
Yeah.
And Zana's was Bane.
And the only thing I can probably say, and I agree that Mara was a mistake as well, is that, if you're trying to get at Luke, well, I mean, they've done it.
Right.
But the other thing too is that there's also probably more of a challenge or more of a danger there. Like, not to say that Han wasn't, formidable. But if I had to try and take somebody out, I'd prefer to try and take on Han than I would have try and take on Mara Jade.
Yeah, especially because Han wasn't trained as a Jedi. He wasn't Force sensitive.
Yeah.
As such. So
there's
a debate whether he was slightly Force sensitive, but not enough to be a Jedi. Yeah.
But if you're going to try and send a message of your own power, there's a difference between I've just taken out your Force sensitive, incredibly powerful wife, or I've just taken out a semi-retired smuggler. It's like,
knowing that you wouldn't be able to kill Luke,
yeah, true. So
right,
I still think it was a mistake, but there is some manner of reasoning.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: one of his motivations for turning to the dark side was not allowing Luke to die, which is an interesting thing. But yeah, that's the thing is that it's tailored as a Sith sacrifice, which is the problem. As far as sending a message, it's good. Yeah. But then if you want that to be a sacrifice, then Leia. Now, I would not like Leia dying, personally.
Yeah.
I think that would actually hit a lot harder.
Yeah.
Than Mara. And if you're wanting to send a message, that's a good one because she is a powerful Jedi. She's not a master, but she's arguably the most powerful standard Jedi Knight, aside from Jaina.
I read the part in Ambush of Corellia where she just beat Luke in a spa.
Yeah.
At that point. And she's just like, I was training on the side.
Yeah.
I love Leia so much. Oh man, her stuff.
That's great.
But yeah, if they wanted to send a message, and this is where I think George caused the problem, is that it probably should have been Leia if we're going with this position. My thought was Han because actually without Leia, his role would actually bump up a bit. So that actually tracks. And I think that actually would have made more sense to drop Leia, because that would... I feel sorry for Han because he's losing his entire family.
He lost Chewie, and then he loses Leia, he loses Jason.
Whoa! Skipping his son. My goodness, sheesh.
Yeah.
Like he loses Chewie, then he loses Anakin, right. Then he loses Leia. He's already lost Jason, but he's not dead yet. And then he loses Jason to his own daughter.
That's gonna make Thanksgiving
dinner by his mortal enemy.
Right.
I love that moment in Legacy of the Force when he sent the crash gauntlets. That really stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of his stuff is later in the timeline. I like Tatooine Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of.
But it was a side story, so it's a little bit...
It was a little too convenient. I think me and Jeff
I think
talked
Denning
about
works better in side stories most of the time. I think that's what it is. When that's why Cam doesn't really care for Legacy of the Force or Fate of the Jedi. Is because Denning came up with the concepts of both.
That's why they suck.
Yeah. And well, what bugs me is Alston and Travis both agreed to write books for these series. That's what amazes me about them. And that's I think why I like Legacy until Sacrifice. But even Sacrifice is well written. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I will never forgive Travis for that. I will never forgive her. I will never forgive her for killing Mara.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it sounds like it wasn't communicated with Timothy Zahn.
You can't kill off another author's character.
He's actually still sore about that. He's still sore about it.
I may not like Timothy Zahn anymore because of his modern Star Wars opinions and things.
Yeah,
I completely agree with him in still being sore over that because they did him dirty.
And while technically Lucasfilm owns the characters, there's still very much a thing. Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
It's still like common courtesy, though.
You gotta communicate with the people that you're gonna potentially offend. You should have a conversation before you just kill off a guy's character that he's spent decades establishing. I mean, granted, it was only 2 decades at this point, but still.
Yeah. But I mean, she was like a majorly prominent character. But I mean, I understand why Karen Travis did it because they weren't allowed to kill off anyone from the main core group anymore.
And I think she probably would have killed off Leia.
And it likely would have gone through the proper approval process as well. And they would have all decided, that's the way we do it.
So, I mean, it's not just doing it. Yeah, it's not just Karen Travis's fault that this happened.
No.
It may have been her idea to pick Mara, but
it probably was.
Everybody else had to agree.
Yeah.
I just like that we're all here discussing fans getting hurt about the idea of a main character dying or the authors or George Lucas being offended, and all these ideas are floating around, and yet if some unnamed large company was to take over the rights and maybe make their own 3 movies, I wonder how it would affect them if they ever killed the top 3 people. Because I can't help but feel that's kind of what happened, and yet somehow they're wildly popular, apparently. These, and I know that's way off topic. I know the mannequin is now entering my room, but when you can write a new trilogy of movies and you kill off Han, Leia, and Luke, and yet everyone's like, yay! And we're still here 20 years later discussing killing off Mara. Like, it's interesting that there seems to be that dichotomy there about people who care and the ones that perhaps don't care quite so much.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the discussion gets around, especially with Mara, and that what our points are is about the execution of it rather than that it actually happened.
Yeah. And that's why I don't like Mara dying. It's not that she died; it's how she died. She's not a good Sith sacrifice for Jason. It's not right.
What's funny too is so in my brain, the way my brain works is like if I haven't read something that's like in one of these stories, like personally, it's not happened yet.
And so if it's not in the archives, it does not exist.
So for years,
yes,
I had all of the Legacy of the Force books, and I wouldn't read them because I knew Mara died in them. And then when I did start reading them, I stopped for months before I started on Sacrifice.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to lose Mara. But once I read that,
that's why I haven't finished it.
I'm glad you understand it. It's. I don't know why my brain works that way. It hurts. Yeah. It does hurt.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I have read Legacy of Fate of the Jedi.
So you know she's dead.
Yeah,
you're aware, sir.
I've gone through Fate of the Jedi all the way to Crucible. I'm aware of how she died. I just don't want to read it.
Yeah.
But I have to. That's where I am. Like I have been on Sacrifice for almost a year now.
Wow.
I'm not kidding, and I'm like 4 chapters in.
You're gonna have to rip the Band-Aid off at some point.
I know.
Wow,
I know.
Just wow. Yeah. All right.
Also, I don't know about you guys, but like when I think of like Star Wars existing, like if it was real, like to me, present day Star Wars is the New Republic era, like the Bantam era of books. To me, that's present day.
That's
so
that makes sense.
Like all the other
timeline wise, that does fit.
I do feel. I mean, there could be varying perspectives on that, because I feel like the original trilogy opening really a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So much of it, the framing for me is if it was real history, it was still a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's not so much.
That's my perspective on that.
I'm not so much saying like present day, like for us is the
present day as you're reading it. Yeah.
I'm saying like yes, like when I immerse myself in like Star Wars, if I'm thinking as if I'm in that universe, to me the New Republic era is the current time period, the present day, and everything else is in the past or it's things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, so if the New Republic is the present day, then anything past that could be fiction written in universe.
I think it's just a way for me to like reconcile the fact that like so many characters I like are dead.
That's fair.
Or entire systems at some point, like entire planets are just gone
out of existence. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that that's your perspective, Cam, because to me, present day is the New Jedi Order era. That's present day to me, because and here's my reasoning. Okay, because our parents grew up with the original trilogy.
Okay,
like when it coming out. We grew up with the prequels coming out, and the New Jedi Order books were being published around that time.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
That's how my brain works.
Well, I didn't read those things when those came out. I didn't watch the prequels when they first came out, other than Revenge of the Sith.
Interesting.
I went from the original trilogy to Revenge of the Sith to the Bantam books. Because we got the Bantam books at like a local library book sale. So I have these like old copies of them. Like the first EU book I read was Heir to the Empire. But that wasn't my first EU series because they didn't have the whole series there the first time I went. But they had the whole Jedi Academy trilogy there. So that was my first complete EU series. And so both of those hold like a special place in my heart because of that.
I mean, my first books were were original trilogy period. So I get that.
Yeah. I really thought of it as the New Republic when I was reading Tales of the Jedi, because that's when the Oberon Institute was very predominant. Looking back into history, the Jedi were learning about history, all of that feels very much like it's a perspective from the New Republic when it's got the framework of looking back at the holocrons.
That's actually fair too, because if you look at like the Jedi Path and like Bounty Hunter Code and things like that, I think all of those are written in the New Republic era, like the notes in the margins.
Yeah. Luke's notes are all New Republic era.
Yeah. Didn't even read the Invasion comics.
I didn't at all.
I found them kind of cool, but yet unusual. Like they well, there was two things. So the first one, which is not something we really see again, was like a human, and I mean like an actual someone who presents as a human. It'd be like a 5 foot tall lady that looks regular, and suddenly just kind of goes blang, and there's this enormous 7 foot Yuuzhan Vong hiding inside a 5 foot, like it's a disguise. and this happens twice in the comics. I'm just like, I don't know if you understand the physics of this. A 7 foot muscular spiky Yuuzhan Vong cannot disguise themselves as a 5 foot tall pretty lady, no matter how much they try.
At them being a 7 foot tall pretty lady.
Like even they say, "You look lovely tonight, dear. What's with the shoulder spikes?" Like it was
Well, and the way it's described in the books, it's pretty much just like an outer layer of skin. Like it's like a false skin that makes them look human. That's all it is. So it doesn't make sense to me that they would do it that way. Like that doesn't make sense.
No, it was genuinely quite bizarre. And then I also remember that they actually start their own sort of resistance against the Vong, which would have been cool if we'd ever seen this particular resistance ever again. But it almost ends on a cliffhanger. Like in that regard, it's kind of like, like we are together. We're going to go fight the Yuuzhan Vong. Hurrah, hooray! And then that's it. Wait, what? Were they successful in any way?
Many such cases in the EU. Many such cases.
So storylines just get dropped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
it's unfortunate.
Look, again, I'm not saying don't read them. Enjoyable enough read, but you'll find your eyebrow crawling up your forehead at least twice. Like as you're reading them, just like, what is this?
Just like this mannequin crawling up your forehead.
Good old mannequin.
I'm seriously going to take a picture of this and send it to Cal so he can use it.
Yeah, just throw that into the video and post.
100%.
But where'd we end up with the
just have it just steadily like move closer and closer to the foreground behind me.
And then eventually by the end it like replaces you as the person in the chair.
Yeah. That's all we'll have. And Callum and I came across this a while ago as well. I know we discussed it. Was that, and this is another video. Sorry about the mannequin. Is that things get lost at every single entrant? Like, so when these comics came out of single issues, this is all of, but when these comics came out of single issues, apart from the letters to the editor, which are already quite good, there were always small snippets at the back or concept art or just discussions on how things are going and that kind of thing that then got missed out of the trade paperbacks. But then the trade paperback still had, wasn't there, Cal probably remember, there was like something that was like Imperial Letters or something. There was like one, and that might have actually been the Old Republic comics.
Yeah, the KOTOR comics with the dispatch feeds in the back and that.
Yeah, and those things got missed in subsequent printings. And it's almost like at some point I wouldn't mind even collating those and just say like these are the things that
Yeah. And that's where I've preferred reading some of the digital copies of single issues I've got, because then I could read all of the things in the back and all that.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I will say I think the Marvel omnibuses, I think they do have all the things in them, but I'm not 100% sure about the letters to the editor stuff. I don't know about those, but I know, like, for the KOTOR stuff, it brings in like the HoloNet feeds and things. Like me and Johnny just talked about that.
Well, the last 4 years in particular were really telling. Like after the Disney buyout, some of the back and forth in the letters to the editor between like the writers and developers and fans is so telling, because there's a whole bunch of them was like, hey, is this going to continue? Like Disney aren't going to reboot, aren't they? Like, no, they're letting us write these stories. They're not going to likely to be rebooting, blah, blah, blah. Like it's a really interesting time, I guess, in the fandom to go back and look at those letters now and think, well,
yeah, confirmed. Just double checking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're in.
But no, these.
Hence the expanded universe label on it is their intention was to expand upon everything.
And it is not extended. There's a difference.
No. That bothers me.
Yes, especially because the official marketing printed on, especially some of the figurines and that from the expanded universe, were labeled Star Wars Expanded Universe, not Extended Universe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not a fan term.
Extension is a stretch. Expanding is going out in all directions.
Mm-hmm. As well as it's the official marketing for and the official term. If it was just a fan term, you can flip-flop back and forth. Huge thanks for hanging out in the brightest center in the galaxy. If you want to hear more, make sure to follow on the platform of your preference. I'm your host Callum, and this has been the Callum's Cantina podcast. And remember, the films are just the beginning. The expanded universe is where the galaxy truly goes into its own. So see you next time when you visit the Cantina.